No, these are my friends.
Yeah, they're still, you know, yeah, those are the biggest haters. Yeah, I remember when I told my friend about an idea.
The band said, "Man, come on, Frank. You should be more livelier than that, man. What are you dragging for?"
They're just hating. It's because I remember I told a friend of mine an idea I had, and it was a good idea. And he starts laughing and said, "Oh, that's never gonna work. It's never gonna work." And I said, "I could tell it's gonna work." I just started laughing.
So when you sign the contract, it won't be part of the project. That's all.
Exactly. That's how it is. You know, your friends
are less than a minute, guys.
Okay.
Are you recording?
I'm recording your DVD, yeah.
Of course.
We got about 30 seconds.
All right.
And 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Frankie B.
And I'm Mark.
Okay. Couple of things. We got some announcements. We're going to pick up where we left off from the last show, talking about Godzilla, and then we're going to do a bunch of movie reviews. So don't mind me if I really speed through this here, because we got to make it for lost time. We mentioned when I wasn't here, Mark was covering a lot of different things because, let's face it, it was a kind of a really bad movie year. I'm going to be comparing that to the top 5 and of all time. Top 5 for the year. For example, Venom hit number 5. Believe it or not, I'll go more into that. So announcements, movie reviews, and some news. Okay, like Punisher being canceled and being taken over by Disney. So anyway, let's get right to the top. My blog. Okay, the blog is every 2 weeks. And you can go to Google, type in Videoland Express blog, and it comes right on up. The main thing is going to complete makeover. The whole site is going to get a makeover. It's still going to be reviews. I do like little mini reviews and the latest news and stuff like that. The thing you got to watch out for is there's a link to the website that's dead. A link to the radio shows, those are dead. The only thing you have to look at it on the right-hand side of the column there is the Godzilla community. Okay, the link doesn't work properly. You're going to have to cut it and paste. Exactly. Thank you. So, our fellow engineer here. Click out that, cut and paste, and it goes to the Godzilla community on the blog, because right now, believe it or not, they're fans of Godzilla on the community. They're in Tokyo. They're checking out right now Tokyo Comic Con, believe it or not. And they've been showing the brand new trailer that's coming to the U.S. later in the week, but right now it's playing over there. And they're going to have, they showed all the brand new pictures of Godzilla, Rodan, and King Ghidorah. Or I say King Ghidorah because that's the way it was pronounced back in 1964 when the picture was originally released. King Ghidorah, for people being picky about the name. But anyway, and they came out with the models but the company is SH Monsters. They're really big. They're like really big action figures, and the King Ghidorah is really huge, and the wings are more like a bat. We're going to be talking more about Star Wars and action figures. Hold on. Anyway, so go to the Godzilla community, which is on our blog, and you'll see all the brand new pictures. And I think there's a link to the trailer that's going to be released later on. Oh, there we go. There is the Godzilla community. And if you see around right now, there's a video there. There's a bunch of pictures. That's one for the SH Monster that's being released. They're going to be doing this all weekend. They're really updating a lot of stuff in the past 2 days. Tokyo Comic-Con, should I say. So that's the Godzilla community. That's the picture, I believe, that has the King Ghidorah that looks like a bat. Yeah, with the wings. I think that looks really, really cool. This is going to be going on for the next 2 days. So stop over there, and then we'll have more information about that. The Godzilla community is not going to change. That's going to stay there for the next year or so. And then, we'll be talking more about the blog in the next 2 weeks. But that's the links for you. Now, let's get into more information over here. I know I'm speeding through, but we got to really make up for the last show. Anyway, so that's King Ghidorah. This is from Classic Media that has commentaries and everything like that. Okay, next. Let's go right through the list here. We did a recap last time, and I want to say that Bohemian Rhapsody is going to be, it's crossing the $500 million mark. Is the biggest bioepic about a single musician or whatever. It used to be Straight Outta Compton. Well, Bohemian Rhapsody took over. There's a rumor that Malik, who does Freddie Mercury, is going to be nominated. And now Star is Born. Remember I said Star Born was not picking up that much? Well, guess what? Star Born is crossing the 350 million mark worldwide. It opened up other countries that wasn't open 2 weeks ago, and it's cleaning up. Some like Wreck-It Ralph is not doing all that good in China. It opened up to only 20 million. Venom did huge over there, and it's still piss on the Star Wars. But anyway, yeah, that's China for you, up and down market. And people have been asking me, okay, let me switch this around because we're talking about musicals. We're going to talk more about it. I had a chance to see Mary Poppins yesterday. They're already having the premiere. Because they really it's getting great reviews. I couldn't go last night. If you want to see, the original Mary Poppins has a great commentary with Julia Andrews and stuff like that. She turned on a cameo, by the way. She said, listen, this is Emily Blunt's movie. I don't want to interfere.
Wow, Emily Blunt.
Yep.
She's amazing.
She came a long way. But if anybody has Amazon Prime, you must have heard the news. And next week, they're going to release preview tickets before the actual release. They already did the Mary Poppins. Amazon Prime is going to offer Aquaman. These two pictures are going neck and neck, and Aquaman is getting good reviews. They did a preview a couple of weeks ago, and it got mixed reviews. Somebody went in there, went snip, 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 cut this out, put that in.
Nice.
So it's going to be, those two pictures are going to be neck and neck. As far as I'm concerned, there's an audience for both of them. They say Mary Poppins probably gets 75, Aquaman 65. It sure be getting only 25 million, like a lot of these films this year have premiered, and they all crash. So those two, because first of all, you got the Marvel comic book fans, etc. You got all the geeks and nerds, and then Mary Poppins has all the generation like grandma and grandpa who don't go see movies. They're gonna take the little kids. Children, the kids, because they grew up on Mary Poppins, so they want to see the new version of Mary Poppins. So there's going to be two groups of people, and they're both going to do huge in the winter time. But talk about music, I want to get this out of the way. We're going to cover some things. We're going to do a specials on Godzilla. We'll talk more about that next time. Star Trek, we're going to cover that when Discovery comes out in January. We're going to have James Bond. They took a James Bond poll, and a lot of people said they got no problem with Idris Elba as James Bond. An American, a Latino, a woman. They all said no.
No Benicio del Toro?
No.
What?
He didn't make it on the list.
Are they crazy? Are you guys nuts?
Well, anyway, we'll be talking more about that, okay? Hugh Jackman, The Greatest Showman, they released another album of the greatest hits from the musical, remixes and stuff. It's doing huge in England. They won't let go of this movie. And it's being such a big hit, the people won't let this movie die down, that Hugh Jackman As a matter of fact, is going on tour, doing his best stuff from Oklahoma, Greatest Showman. At the movie I can never pronounce, Les Miserables.
Oh, Les Miserables.
Yeah, okay, almost got you there too. That tongue twister. Anyway, he's going on tour. He's going to play England, a bunch of places in Europe, and he's going to play 2 nights at Madison Square Garden in New York City. Okay?
So you really want to be a singer,
Yeah,
Hugh Jackman. You want to be Broadway.
Well, the rumor is, well, this guy can do everything. You know, they're talking about him being an actor.
He seems like more he wants to do Broadway than anything.
Well, he already did Broadway.
I know, but it seems like
And
that's what he really
Tony.
likes. I'm saying that's what he really wants to do.
He came from theater, he came from music, so of course he's gonna. But he never sold out 2 nights at Madison Square. Anyway,
Jerry Brown?
Jerry Brown, thank you. Okay.
Is that what he was playing?
Yeah, the movie just came out. In previews. Yeah.
I thought he was playing another character.
No, that's him. They're going in previews because they're trying to get him nominated for an Oscar. So he's going for that.
Good luck.
And then he's going for his,
He
playing.
could probably do it. He could probably do it. I think he has a lot of in Hollywood, so they would probably give him an Oscar and a Tony one day.
Well, I met the guy, and let me tell you, he's the real deal. Very cool. He's very generous with everybody.
Yeah.
The reason I'm showing this is because that's another special in January. All these special I'm talking about is going to be in January, and people want to know, Frank, we want to hear more about you as an actor, background acting, and movies and TV. Right now, it's not the time because it seems like I'm bragging. But let's not forget, Logan over here made $500 million. So he pulls in the box office.
There was buzz on him for this movie. There was buzz on him that they were talking about maybe thinking about nominating him for that movie. Remember?
Right, they were pushing it.
What happened to that?
It didn't work. That's why they're pushing him for the front runner. But anyway, that's the talk on that. And another little recap. I mentioned that last time Crows on the Bridge. William Shatner directed this, and it's talking about the whole all behind the dirt, the next generation. The gentleman who tried to push for the next generation was the chairman of the board, CBS.
Les Moonves?
Yeah, he's the one who actually tried to. When the season 1 came out, people were like, the critics, it's not right, you know. Well, he's the one who hired the writers for the second, third season and said, fix this.
Yeah.
Okay? So he kind of saved the day. The poor guy was the same guy that he's tried to save Discovery. The first 6 episodes, people sucked and said, okay, that's it. We need to pull that rabbit out of the hat. Let's make this a mirror universe. And that's why the TV show went right off the tracks. And it was listen, we got to save the show. They don't like it the way it is. It's not matching the canon. We got to match the canon. Well, people hate the Vulcans. Nobody's explaining to me about the white Vulcan. Anyway, it was less. He tried to save Discovery, and the show was such a mess to begin with. It doesn't matter who they got in there. We're going to be talking about that. Okay, real funny because we got Star Wars here. We got Star Trek, and let me say, I'm trying to.
And you're saying they cross paths almost on a daily plane, like things that come here go there, and the things that go here come here.
Well, okay, let's say I mentioned William Shatner now. Okay, now I'll try to slow down. I can catch my breath here. Here's the connection. Very simple. But something I like to do the Kevin Bacon game. Now, Star Wars is coming again with more animation. We all know that. We got the Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Thank you. And what's
the tongue twisters?
Yeah. What's the other spin-off they got?
Oh,
the Rogue One.
Yes, Rogue One with Captain Cassian Andor.
Right, that's the guy.
They're going to make a show based on him in Rogue One before Rogue One.
Right, a prequel to the prequel.
Yes.
They keep going backwards. That's the problem
hopefully they have Darth Vader in it, because a lot of Gen Xers love Darth Vader. And when they saw Darth Vader in Rogue One, people flipped their wigs. Or they flipped their...
Well, there's that big gap between, what is it? The Attack of the Clones, Return of
the Sith?
Jedi, right? And then...
Return of the Sith was the last one.
Right, and then there's a gap before they go into...
To New Hope.
Right, and that's where Rogue One fit in. So,
yes.
so there's a big a gap right there, and that's how the prequel to the prequel can squeeze in there. So that's how Darth Vader can be part of that. Now, the connection is, we all know Star Trek came from TV. Now Star Wars is going TV. They really put down Star Trek animation. Roddenberry was the creator. He's the one who gave the get-go to do the animated series. Everybody is involved in this. Most of the actors, the writers, DC Fontana. Okay, I'm going to go more details. This is a little preview. But now, as far as the canon, people complaining about this. As a matter of fact, one highlight of this series was that not the transporter, what was it? The holodeck. The holodeck actually got introduced over here. And so I forgot what episode it is. I go into more detail about this. But now they're going to come with a Star Trek animation. They're going to do Project Stewart. Okay, and again, they're going to go back to streaming. Star Wars is going back to streaming. Okay, when everybody goofed on Star Trek, now Star Trek is coming out with another animated series. Star Wars is coming out animated series. It's like both of these are following each other's thing here. That's what I'm trying to say. We're going to go more into detail. We're going to do a Star Trek special on that. Okay.
What do they call it? They call it parallel thinking.
There you go.
They don't call it stealing. It's parallel thinking.
Well, if you're gonna steal from the best. Okay, so let me put my my thinking glasses here, and let's go to some reviews. Let's. I don't know what the movies you've seen. We don't catch up with each other during the week. That's the thing. So this is spot on. So
the only thing I remember seeing is Teen Titans Go.
Okay, let's tune in with that. Wreck-It Ralph. Okay, a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know why. You go to Internet Movie Database, and they were like all over the place. It's like, oh, this movie sucked. The second half is horrible. It all talks about the internet. You got to look for the. Me, it's all the little cameos and all the little what you call it, trivias and stuff like that. You got to look carefully because I don't know who's following whom. Because apparently, like Radio Player One is like number 9 on the top 10 of the box office for the year. But you know how Radio Player One, they had the cameos of Godzilla and the Batmobile and stuff like that.
A lot of people said that some people were criticizing that it seemed like it was becoming too much of a nod. What do they call it when they say that you go back to the past to try to get those high spots?
Right.
You know, it's sort of like
I forget the name what they call it. Right.
You're pandering to like the audience that used to like that, like Back to the Future, Knight Rider, Iron Robot. You know, all the tropes. The Shining.
Well, don't forget, all that stuff was owned by Time Warner. They're the ones who did Radio Player One, and Wreck-It Ralph, of course, is sponsored by.
Disney?
By Disney. So even Star Wars Stormtroopers are in there, you know, chasing the little girl around and stuff like that. So, but the funny thing is, there's a Stan Lee cameo. Ralph is like, oh, wow, the internet. Let me look around and stuff like that. And Stan Lee, hey, wait, what are you doing here? Get out of my way. So it's a little, he's like, it looks like a little app. And the other one is the Batmobile, or should I say the Bat Signal. And the thing turns around from the 1966 series. That's in there, believe it or not.
That's a Warner property, huh?
Yep. And no, well, Batman is, believe it or not, has different
owners.
Owners. Same thing like Star Trek. CBS series owns the TV show. The Captain Kirk and the William Shatner series, should I say? Right. And then Paramount owns the movie rights because of J.J. Abrams. He didn't want nothing to do with the TV series.
They said that's why it was colliding, and they didn't like what CBS and Paramount, and they're conflicting with, they say, Star Trek STD. You know, Star Trek Discovery. Right,
and then there's the problem with the canon and stuff like that.
They're ruining canon. They say destroying it.
Yeah, I mean that's a half-hour show. We know that. So you Trekkies out there, hold on. We're gonna get to that, okay? But yeah, there was a certain conflict with that. As a matter of fact, there's a cameo in Wreck-It Ralph where the girl, the little redhead girl from Brave.
Yes.
Okay. Really annoying. Well, she's a woman who she's talking to all the princesses again, and all of a sudden in the corner there you see the redhead from Brave, and she says, "Well, golly, mate," you know, with an Irish, really thick Irish accent.
Scottish.
Scottish. Excuse me. And then one of the other princess, what's she saying? I don't know. We just let her yak.
Ah, that's funny.
And the other one goes, "Oh, she's from the other studio," meaning Pixar.
Ooh.
So they dropped the wall a couple of times. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink to the audience. So
Yeah, because I think it was, what was it? There was studios that would be fighting against each other and trying to say that they're better than the other studio. It was Pixar and Disney, right? At one point,
yeah,
and then at the other point, what was it? That film with Mike Myers, right? About the orc.
right. Shrek.
Yeah, Shrek, and Shrek would come out and destroy Disney. 'Cause
Right,
that was a different studio.
A different studio. But now, this is before Disney brought the rights to Pixar. Now they're the distributors, believe it or not. Same thing like what happened with Punisher. We were talking about that. Punisher is
yeah.
getting canceled.
Oof,
And
thank goodness.
And then I said we got into a little tiff about that. It's like how Disney gonna produce? Guess what? And it was in Variety magazine, and they kept it a low key. And Disney and Marvel was actually the producers of all those shows. Jessica Jones, which I was in. You see the back of my head. Luke Cage, I was in. You don't even see me. Never mind. Punisher. All these shows are getting canceled. Whatever property there's there, the Defenders.
Yes,
all these shows are getting canceled.
I knew it was coming down the line. I could see the writing on the wall. That, like as soon as they got rid of Iron Fist, then they were going to go after Luke Cage. And then I told you, I said, "Oh, I bet you Defenders, Jessica Jones, and the Punisher are next on the chopping block."
They're all gone. They canceled the contracts.
What about Daredevil?
That's gone also.
Oh no!
Yep, it hasn't been officially mentioned, but here's the thing: a lot of people don't realize that, and nobody really did. Disney kept on the keeps that Disney and Marvel were producing these shows, but they don't want to be affiliated. Oh, we're producing a rated R program like Punisher. So Netflix said they went along with it. Netflix was only the distributor.
Right.
That's all they were.
The middleman.
The middleman. So now they cancel the contracts. Everything goes back. So what they're going to do is reboot the shows. Everything's coming back to them because they want to put all this back in the Marvel universe for the next Avengers. You know, a lot of the Avengers are going to die, like Captain America, supposedly, allegedly, whatever.
Oops, spoiler.
Spoiler. And then they want to get all these other characters into the fold. And put them into either they're going to stay on TV or they're going to try to like a cameo and put them up on the big screen. But now with the merger of Fox, what they're going to do is how they're going to cover that is going to say, okay, let's. Do we have one? Yeah, that's a perfect example.
Sony Studios.
Yeah, Fox presents the Punisher in the back. Fox is a Disney corporation.
Yeah, they're going to own everything. They own The Simpsons too.
They're going after everything.
Wow.
So
I told you, remember we were talking about that? How long ago when we started talking about Disney? I think it must have been like 3 years ago, when I said, you're going to see one day Disney's going to own everything, even the thoughts that come out of our heads.
Well, they're getting there. What they do? So we're gonna like people say, okay, what's gonna happen to the Predator and the Alien franchises and stuff like that? Okay, we know Predator's tanked. The next Alien movie was supposed to be David and the engineers. He didn't kill all the engineers. They're gonna have a final battle conflict, and somehow David, the android, ends up exactly where Alien #1, where the eggs came from. And nobody cares. Okay. So that script by Neil Blomkamp is still floating around. The one that Sigourney Weaver wants to push is the continuation of Aliens 2, directed by James Cameron. And James Cameron might come back into the fold as an executive producer. But how's that going to happen? They're going to keep the Fox logo. And then in the bottom corner said company owned by Disney. But you won't see Tinkerbell, and you won't see those little mouse ears. Yeah. They're going to keep the Fox label. They had the Fox Touchstone. They had Disney had Touchstone. Those were PG-13 movies. But so all these Punisher and stuff like that is going to be hidden underneath the Fox label. So people are going to think, oh, rated R movie, TV show, Punisher is produced by Fox. Yeah, but it's still owned by Disney. So that's how they're going to get away with that.
Excuse my ignorance, Frank.
They got good lawyers. A lot of us didn't know that, to be honest.
Yeah. Excuse my ignorance if I interrupt, but is this going to affect the Terminator reboot? That they said they were going to do a Terminator with a female Terminator and Linda Hamilton?
No, it's already in production. They already went ahead with it, and then the whatever Fox made right now, is going to be released as is. Well, they're going to go in sections of all the properties and everything. Terminator is already out of the gate. They're doing they're finishing the film. They're going to go into post-production, and it's going as is.
Is this going to affect Avatar?
Nope. Avatar, he's got like 4 sequels that all been filmed already. So they're going as is. But those properties are PG-13. They're going to stay underneath that Fox label.
Yeah, because I remember James Cameron was trying to go after Star Wars and attack them.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. But then I think something happened where they were almost going to be competing against each other. And then all of a sudden, I saw, when I looked at it again, when Avatar was going to come out, all of a sudden it's pushed back a month or something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
you see that? Disney.
There's a lot of lawyers doing overtime in Hollywood because of all this, okay?
James Cameron, you can't...
For example, Paramount, they own a Mission Impossible. Fallout, here's a review. No big deal. I prefer the one when he's bouncing off the building. That was a way better movie. This movie had a good bathroom scene when they're fighting in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was
the helicopter scene, come on.
Yeah, that was
awesome. He actually flew a helicopter.
Yeah, he does his own stunt, but
Tom Cruise, you see, he's the man.
But the one on Dubai, I guess it was filmed that was a much better film. But Paramount owns that. But Paramount made a trade agreement, a financial agreement to have Paramount and China make movies together. China went and canceled it, and guess what Paramount is going to do now? They're going talking to Netflix. Netflix is going to make movies for them.
Wow.
They're going to finance it. So what's happening basically? Streaming is taking over. Now you had a beef about streaming. Let the audience know.
Okay, this is my beef about streaming. First of all, I remember when Frank was in here, I started speaking more about DVDs. Frank was telling me that people were complaining. Like his friends, his buddy was saying, he's talking too much about DVDs. Stop talking about. You should be talking about movies. And I was telling Frank, you and I know there was nothing there during the time he was away. There was nothing out. There was
really
only
wasn't.
Venom. There was only Venom. It was hard. I would put the review at the end because any movie like Halloween that came out, I didn't want to really say anything bad about it because I wanted to be positive. So I said, I saw it. And that was about it. I didn't want to say anything negative because I didn't want anyone to go after me because I want to do background. Like Frank's been saying it so much that he pumped me up where I said, I want to do it too. I want to get in there.
It's a great learning experience
doing
it's a great
learning
work.
So I didn't want to say anything
but it's not
about
easy,
these movies.
folks.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
easy.
It's not.
No.
You're gonna
You're
freeze
out
out
there in the cold.
there.
Yeah,
you're gonna freeze.
You get rained on.
Yeah. But I don't want to say anything negative.
But the rub is good.
Yeah, I don't want to attack Halloween and because you asked me if I said anything. I said I saw the movie. I reviewed it. But I didn't speak too much about it because I don't want to say, hey, this is just like a Terminator hack. This is like Terminator 2.
Halloween
I didn't want to
sucked.
say that. I didn't want to say that.
Yeah,
and you told me stop attacking these movies because you said you're going to start making enemies with these people. They're not going to put you on. And I said, okay, but I'm going to take your lead. And this is what you're saying to me now. You're saying it sucks.
Uh-huh.
All right, so this is back to the streaming service.
I've been doing this show for 30 years. Yeah. I take the blame. I didn't want you're the co-host, but I don't want you to take the blame.
Anytime I say something, he says you shouldn't be saying that. Yet he's the first one who attacks somebody, and then I said, you see, I jumped on the bandwagon with you.
Right.
So like I said I
drive him nuts about that, but see, I take the blame because I'm the producer of the show, and I'm in the business. I mean, I'm on these sets, and I know the way everything ticks, and I know the politics.
It's like you're saying, do what I say, not what I do. So like I was saying, with streaming services, I was buying more DVDs, Black Friday DVDs, talking about them, speaking about them, because I don't know how long I stay with streaming services. You go to streaming service, you go to Netflix. I'm saying this real fast because we only got less than a minute. Because you try to see a movie on Netflix, on Amazon, you can't see a good Jean-Claude Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, Stallone, or Bruce Willis, or like somebody was telling me just recently, Chuck Norris. These movies are hard to find because you got to pay these people to show these movies on streaming. And streaming services they're cheap and they don't want to pay for it. And if you want to see them on, like on Amazon, it's an extra $4. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather go pay for the DVD for $5 and own it instead of paying another $4 just to see it once. And if I want to own it online, it's $7. Oh, we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Well, we're less than a minute. I think it's over. Good night, guys.
See you next time.
Yeah, I guess we could put this on YouTube. The show's over now.
We got 1 minute. Okay, Christmas movie, Christmas Chronicles with Kurt Russell. He sings the song "Santa is coming to your town." No, Santa Claus is in town. It's hysterical. He's doing his Elvis Presley impersonation because remember Kurt Russell did play Elvis Presley for ABC TV Movie of the Week, and the other one is Outlaw King, Chris Pike. Is that?
Yeah, Christopher Pike. Well, is that from Star Trek?
That's from Star Trek. Who plays?
Name me the person. I can name it quick. We got to do it.
Who's Captain Kirk? Chris Pine.
Yeah, Chris Pine. There you go.
Okay, he does the Chronicle. Outlaw King.
Yes.
If you love Braveheart, you'll love this movie.
HBO, Netflix, or Amazon?
Netflix. Those are the two Netflix movies I recommend. Outlaw King. He does not need Star Trek no more. Okay,
Yeah,
he's a great
him.
actor in this
Yeah.
one. The action sequence, especially the last battle sequence when they go mano a mano, awesome. Okay, another 4 out of 5. I didn't give a 5 because the first 30 minutes got chopped up. Somebody decided the movie was too long, and they took about 30 minutes out of the first half of the movie, which was a shame. But you still enjoy it. The action sequence is
So I guess we
fantastic.
got to wrap it up.
Okay, folks.
They kick us out.
They're going to kick us out. Yeah, we can't do it any
Good luck,
longer.
folks.
But anyway,
Thank you.
so those are 2 films on Netflix. So you check out it in the meantime. But we'll be seeing you in 2 weeks. And I guess that's it.
2
yeah.
weeks.
And then next time you can mention Venom. Okay.
Oh, yeah, Venom comes out the December 18th. DVD, digital, and DVD.
We'll cover that in the next show. They're not waiting. The window is closing. Before it
Yeah.
used to be 4 months, and now Venom's like less than 2 months.
Yeah, and they're gonna have it in Walmart, Amazon, and Best Buy.
Well, the same thing, the same treatment with Star Wars. They're gonna release it in all the formats and all the stores.